The title is Combat 1967. Three clashes overnight between 3rd Marine Company, Republic of Korea, Marine Corps, and North Vietnamese forces. Captain A, who treated incurable diseases in Jaegidong, Seoul, Korea, was actually a Vietnam veteran. He said the Viet Cong threatened civilians working for the U.S. military base, ordering them to detonate a bomb at a specific time on a specific day on a specific location within the U.S. military base, and threatening to harm the civilians' family if they did not follow the order. Then, civilians have no choice but to follow the order. As a result, such incidents continue to occur within U.S. military bases. It is said that the attacks by the North Vietnamese regular army and Viet Cong, who harassed their enemies with these and other illegal attacks, were fierce. Dr. K of a research institute once said that his family fled from North Korea in 1950 and survived the Korean War, but his older brother went to Vietnam to earn money as a civilian and killed in an explosion in a city. Today, I dramatize a battle story based on a historical event from 50 years ago during the Vietnam War. There was a Marine company in central Vietnam with three platoons. The 3rd platoon was in the north, the 1st platoon was in the southwest, and the 2nd platoon was in the southeast. Private B was assigned to the 2nd platoon after participating in the war. There he met Private C, who was a friend from a small provincial town in southern Korea. They were two friends who rebelled against their teachers and parents and caused trouble, but they were like rain in a drought to each other. The mood in the Korean military, including General Choi Myung-shin, has been gloomy since the Marine Company was recently annihilated. In their company, the 2nd platoon leader was killed in action, and a new platoon leader arrived. The new platoon leader had been serving elsewhere for several months before arriving here. The new platoon leader couldn't bear to see his men die while shouting murder and said, "I will always lead the way, so follow me, and while you follow me, I want the rest of the platoon to provide cover with concentrated fire." He said, "Even if I get shot in the leg, I will fight with the grenade as long as I can." Private B and C, like all the other platoon members, were moved by the sight of their platoon leader sacrificing his life, as he said in training and actual combat. If they had been inspired like this when they were in school, what kind of lives would they have lived? During the Vietnam War, 15 graduating naval cadets volunteered for the Marine Corps. Among them was 2nd Lieutenant D. Enlisting in the Marine Corps meant deployment to the fiercely contested Vietnam. Could it be that they even risk death? The singer Nam Jin reportedly served in Vietnam as a Marine private. Despite facing near-death experiences in combat that others would avoid, he survived and had since become a successful singer. 2nd Lieutenant D received 3 months of platoon leader training and arrived in Vietnam in June. While the original 6-month training period was mandatory due to the high number of casualties among platoon leaders in combat in Vietnam, it was shortened to 3 months. Of the 15 graduates who received Marine Corps training together, 3 were killed in action, 4 were injured, and 3 did not return to Busan port alive. 2nd Lieutenant D came to the 2nd mission area as the 2nd platoon leader. The friendly forces preparations were as follows. One platoon of 4.2-inch mortars, one platoon of 81mm mortars, one 81mm mortar team, and one squad of 106mm recoilless rifles. Double-layer single-strand barbed wire fence was installed on the perimeter, and a 5-layer circular barbed wire fence was installed in the interior. 140 landmines, 63 claymore mines, and 38 lighting mines were planted along the expected enemy infiltration routes to prepare for a surprise attack. The enemy is the North Vietnamese Regular Army Vietcong, various artillery, flamethrowers, AK, automatic rifles, etc. Note, friendly forces were using M1 rifles. The World War II weapon, that was used to fight by constantly replacing 8-round magazines, and the enemy forces were using Soviet-style automatic AK rifles. The enemy force had 2,000 to 3,000 troops, while the friendly forces had only a company of troops, so the friendly forces were at a numerical disadvantage. One night in February at approximately 11:20 p.m., enemy forces approached and attacked the 3rd platoon in the north. Friendly forces fired flares to confirm enemy positions and concentrated fire from the company, forcing a platoon of Vietnamese enemies to retreat. At 4:10 a.m. that night, when the friendly forces were preparing with hired bodies, their tension was somewhat relaxed and they were about to get some sleep. The enemy forces infiltrated the direction of the 3rd platoon in the north, and the friendly forces responded with artillery fire and retaliatory fire. However, when the 3rd platoon's barbed wire fence was blown up and breached, the enemy began to use human wave tactics. The friendly forces fired a barrage of fire using all firearms, including M1 rifles, carbines, machine guns, mortars, and recoilless rifles, but the enemy's human wave tactics allowed the friendly 3rd platoon to break through. Meanwhile, in the southwestern area of the friendly 1st platoon, some of the barbed wire was destroyed and the enemy began to advance. The 1st platoon calmly destroyed all enemies within a 100-meter radius using claymore explosions and other methods. As the 3rd platoon was on the verge of collapse, the 3rd platoon and other supporting troops fought desperately, resulting in over 500 shots falling on the position and the trench becoming a sea of blood. At this time, Private B and Private C, friends from the same hometown, had their last conversation. If this situation continues, we could die. Where will we go when the sinful people die who disobeyed our mothers, fought with juvenile delinquents, and caused trouble? The two of them hold hands for a moment and speak while shedding blood, sweat, and tears. For our comrades and our country, if we must go, let's go. Let's meet again in the hell to which we must go. Then they saw the enemy rushing into the trench. Bullets and shells were crackling in the dust. During the battle, Private B, after being wounded in the ankle, left his gun with his comrade and was killed by a grenade along with 5 enemy soldiers who entered the trench. Private C saw his squad members die in a massive enemy attack. When 3 enemies approached the trench, he charged at the enemy with a grenade in hopes of saving at least one of his remaining comrades, and was killed. Some in the brigade headquarters believed that the friendly company's defense line had collapsed. However, around 6:30 in the morning, the enemy's offensive was broken. In the end, the isolated enemies within the base were annihilated. One company of enemies outside the base fled to the northwest, and the enemies who had broken through the positions at 7:20 a.m. were completely annihilated. Note: friendly forces 294 Marines, 2 U.S. Marines, 15 killed, 33 wounded. Those Vietnamese and the Viet Cong forces, 2,000 to 3,000 infantry, 243 killed to captured. Reference sites are follows. Note: among the hills deep underground, there is a place called Abraham's Bosom. Finally, Luke 16, 22-23 and 26. It came to pass that the beggar Lazarus died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell the rich man lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. And beside all this, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. In Japanese. In Chinese. Thank you.